Welcome to Nursing 342, Nursing Theory and Practice, and in particular, Week 1. This video has been created to help prepare you for Week 1 and maybe look at some steps that you might incorporate throughout your time in the RN to BSN program. The first step would be to open up your announcement. The announcement's a great place to find reminders and previews of any assignments. You might also see some tips and clarifications that will be very helpful as you move on throughout that week. I would encourage you to open up the entire announcement so that if there are some helpful tips down further on, you would be able to see that. For instance, here it says, please do not forget to include the nursing process, and gives you the 5 steps to the nursing process. All right. The next thing I would do is go to Week 1. And in Week 1, I would review the objectives of what I'm intending to learn this week. Clearly focused on the nursing theory, but the primary focus will be on Florence Nightingale's environmental theory and how it's relevant to the nurse today. And your learning activities are clearly written out there for you. I'm going to go back and look at the reading assignments. I will tell you that the majority of the reading will have all the information you need to do any of the assignments written for that week, whether or not it's paper, PowerPoint, discussion question, whatever. The majority of these will be included in your assignments. Feel free to use the Riverside Health System library for any additional support that you may want for your paper or any assignments. As you know, that's an excellent resource for everyone. So I'm going to go to the learning activity for Week 1, and this is going to be the paper. Notice that there is no discussion question. So let's open up the paper, and the first thing you should do is read the assignment in its totality. Before you start writing the paper, before you start jotting down what you need to do, read the entire assignment and then start breaking it down into sections. For me, I would want to know how long my paper has to be. So here it says the assignment should be completed in APA format. And remember, that's the 7th edition APA. And it needs to be between 6 and 8 pages of content, which excludes the title and reference page. Now, you do the math. This would mean that your paper has to be at least 8 to 10 pages. That would include the title and the reference page. The next thing I need to know is how many references I need, and it tells me there are 3 references to include the textbook. So the textbook must be included in your references, so remember to include that. Now it's time to break down the assignment. The first thing I see are these 3 bullet points right out there in these bolded letters that tell me again, use the nursing process, use the nursing process. And this first bullet, second bullet, third bullet could be used for headings. Some students have found that if they use headings that directly relate to the bullet points within the assignment, they don't miss too much of the assignment. So I would encourage you, if that helps you, to use headings according to the bullets or however you want to do it. Looking at the first bullet, it says using Florence Nightingale's environmental theory and the nursing process. What would the nurse take upon the first assessment, and what are the 5 essential components? Now, the 5 essential components relate to the Florence Nightingale environmental theory. And remember that those 5 would be the water, fresh air, fresh air, cleanliness, efficient drainage, and light, direct sunlight or light. And then the next bullet would be the appropriate plan of care for Mrs. Adams. And then the third bullet has nothing to do with the case study, but it's asking you to apply Florence Nightingale's environmental theory into an area of your nursing practice. And if you're a concurrent student, You might use a practice setting that maybe you were a certified nursing assistant or a licensed practical nurse, or you may use a practice setting that you had some clinical rotations and feel like this might support the practice change with the Nightingale's environmental theory. So what patient population would benefit from that? So use a nursing practice area, whether or not you actually work on it or whether or not you did a clinical rotation, either one, and support the practice change. As you look through her history, you're going to find a lot of information that will help you fill out the paper. The next thing to look at is the rubric. Your content alone is worth 40 points. This paper is worth, in totality, 100 possible points. So 40% of this paper will be your content. So make sure that you have answered all the questions appropriately. 20% will be on your introduction. The introduction needs to be clear. The paper is wanting you to use Florence Nightingale's environmental theory and relating it to the case study. That is what you need to have for your introduction. You need to include, when the reader reads this, what will they glean out of this? What are they expecting? They are not expecting a paper solely on Florence Nightingale, but they're expecting a paper that relates Florence Nightingale's environmental theory to the case study and to your practice setting. The next thing is organization and the use of headings. So how does your paper flow? How do you have those headings of your paper set so that there is a nice flow of your ideas? They move from one idea to the next with very little breakage, so to speak. That's worth 10 points. Your spelling, your grammar, punctuation, citation, and references. So citation and references are really APA format. Spelling, grammar, and punctuation are what's included in any paper that you would do. That's worth 10%. I would encourage you to use spell check, or there's another thing called Grammarly that some of the students have used that help them with grammar and punctuation. Anything that will help you, feel free to use. That's going to be worth 10 points. Again, remember that this is the 7th edition of the APA format. And then the very last thing is your conclusion. Remember that your conclusion should link up to your introduction and explain how you feel like you have concluded this paper. And again, what you set out to accomplish, did you accomplish? So the totality is 100 possible points. Just a reminder, this course does have office hours. This office hours, they're for you. Ask questions, stay as little or as long as you want to stay. Your office hours start at 10 o'clock. They last until 11. If those office hours, date and time, they don't work very well with you, we can make those changes to the office hours if you think it needs to be later on in the week or maybe a different time. We can certainly make those changes. Always reach out if you need clarification of any assignments or any thoughts you might have. I truly hope you enjoy Florence Nightingale. She actually is pretty amazing, and I wish you the best of everything. Good luck.